Let's talk a little bit about the Red Note app. First of all, keep enjoying the app. But for those of you who have gotten even more stressed after learning a lot of these things, I want you to understand that the objective of the US is to keep your nervous system hijacked, because if they can keep you in fear and nervous and stress the F out, then they can continue to control you, okay? Our PSYOPs, our psychological operations in the US government is not just for enemy territory. It's been working brilliantly on us, and now you're starting to see that. So, through all of the things that are happening in the United States, that's bringing this level of awareness and awakening to each of you, even if it's doing it through getting pissed off, realizing how well the people of China are living compared to how the United States people are living, and the US people recognizing the real third world country is us. I think it's beautiful, and watching some of the videos on TikTok, because while I downloaded the app, because I live outside of the country, I think I'm having trouble actually registering. So I haven't seen anything there, but there have been many videos that have been shared on TikTok, and I've seen them. And quite honestly, many of them have brought me to tears, just like they've brought you to tears, right? Because what we believed for a long time was what they spoon fed us. And I'm saying us as in general. But listen, they've been calling many of us conspiracy theorists for a long time. Now you all realize it was the truth all along. And they are the ones who created the term. They created the term so that as they fed you the propaganda, you would then be able to identify the CTs and then be able to attack us with the stuff they gave you. That's what they've been doing all along. It's what they did through the pandemic. They told you what to think, then told you what to do to people who thought differently than you. Now I want you to think about that, because that's what's happened all along. So for those of you who have identified, or your grandparents who identified as supremacist, white supremacist, then they told you what white supremacists were, what the other people were, what the benefits were of being white supremacists, and then what the others were and how to treat the others. They have created the separation and division all along. Now, that's just one example, but come on, use your brain. You do that with everything else. And I'm telling you, the PSYOPs have been the government all along. All right? How do you then combat that? Well, you combat it by not using their tools. No. It's time for you to move into divine consciousness. It's time for you to recognize that all of this is really about keeping you from understanding who you truly are, or what you truly are, because you're not this. And they want you to identify with this. Anything that you identify with has the power to control you. So if you are holding strongly to your blackness, it has the power to control you. And you will never actually get back to your divinity. All right? So I've talked about the white supremacy. Now I'm talking about the extreme blackness. But it is with anything that you identify with. It has the power to control you. So there are several layers that I want to hit right now. First of all, keep enjoying the app. But for those of you who have gotten even more stressed after learning a lot of these things, I want you to understand that the objective of the US is to keep your nervous system hijacked, because if they can keep you in fear and nervous and stress the F out, then they can continue to control you, okay? So know that something else is down the pipeline. I am not naive enough to think that they did not foresee something with shutting down this TikTok app. It is part of it that you are learning more things around the world, and their structures of how they feed you the media and what they want you to believe. TikTok has changed that. Yes, I don't think they saw that coming at all. You know, they saw the Facebooks and the Metas and the Zuckerbergs and and the Bezos and the Elon Musks, they saw them cooperating in doing what they needed them to do with social media. They did not foresee what TikTok or the impact that TikTok would have. But let me tell you something. Our world is on its own path, and the awareness of things are happening just when they need to happen. I live by and believe with everything in me that things happen as they ought. That means in the perfect timing that they need to as well. We have a world that is on a timeline of its own, and the powers that be of the United States cannot trump it. And that is the direction that I want you thinking of. When we have all these awarenesses that are happening right now and people awakening, it's imperative that you start to understand what this awareness is, because it's one thing, and that is consciousness. And consciousness is one thing, although different levels at which you can tap into it. I have been talking a lot about human consciousness and divine consciousness, and the fact that you are a sovereign being, whether you understand that or not. You are operating at a level of awareness. For most people, it's just in human consciousness, even though they are divine. We were all born divine beings. And through human consciousness programming, all of that is what has layered on top of your divinity. But in awakening, what ends up happening is you start to see through all of the human consciousness programming. And eventually, if you will really start to focus on your divinity, in your sovereignty, you'll be able to see through all of that, start snipping away at the human consciousness programming, operating in your divine consciousness, and then you'll be equipped to really fight. And I don't like using the word because you don't have to fight once you're operating in your divine consciousness. Fight the powers that be and fight these systems. And I am distinguishing how you do that in divine consciousness versus every other revolution of our world. Because in the past, people have fought using their own systems in their programming. That's not going to work. The beauty is that we are in a space and time when all we have to do is move back into this divine consciousness and start treating each other based on who we truly are, and that is love. And understanding that in love, all the things that they have programmed us to fear are lies, like scarcity and lack and time being against us, and programming us with all of these social constructs that divide us, like race and class and everything else that you know fits into that. That is through human consciousness programming. It's not who you are. And so through the Red app, it is warming the heck out of my heart that the Chinese and the US American people are coming together and having conversations and understanding each other. And what you're demonstrating is some compassion, and which we naturally are. And so it's those things that we unite with. And I'm so thrilled that across the globe, it's happened in that way. And so this will spill over even in the United States, because if you're seeing these lies, and I have a video, y'all, that I just haven't finished editing, where I talk about the Red Note app coming beautifully and in a time for people to demonstrate who they truly are through their divine consciousness and operating in sovereignty at the highest levels to truly treat people well and good, because we're each other. We are the same. Okay? So when we're operating in that oneness, not operating through human consciousness programming, seeing through that, then we get back to the truth of who we are. And our US government, through psychological operations, PSYOPs, that's the video I just did, y'all, and it's gonna come right after this one. But our PSYOPs, our psychological operations in the US government, is not just for enemy territory. It's been working brilliantly on us, and now you're starting to see that. So through all of the things that are happening in the United States, that's bringing this level of awareness and awakening to each of you, even if it's doing it through getting pissed off, realizing how well the people of China are living compared to how the United States people are living, and the US people recognizing the real third world country is us. So here's the part about this Red Note app that I think that people really need to be aware of. And it is how seeing the blatant, not just disrespect and disregard, but playing. We call it the matrix. But if you're able to see through the matrix and you're starting to see how this thing has been operating, then you can rise above it. And I just told you how you rise above it. And I have a lot more videos on how to do that. And I will continue to talk about this because, hell, since my own awakening, then I know this is what I came for. I've been teaching personal development my whole adult life. And I recognize that even all of that teaching is human consciousness programming. But when you shift into divine consciousness, because that's what all this is about, y'all, the shift that is happening, I believe is as simply as saying it's either human consciousness programming you're operating in or a divine consciousness. And it is through the divine consciousness of all the things that you are, which is pure love, pure abundance, and compassion, and all things that are good, then that's what we are naturally. We move into those things, and we're operating that way from ourselves and operating in self-love, and don't do any of the things that we've been programmed to do against ourselves, like judging ourselves, because the opposite of love is judgment. It's not hate. It's not fear. It's judgment. Now, do all of those things overlap? Yes, but it is judgment. And when you judge yourself, you are then easily able to judge others, okay? Judge others, circumstances, situations, but we get back to divine consciousness. And all we see in others is ourselves, because who we are is the I am. That is when we are the creators. And you are able to create the life that you want. Life will look entirely different than anything that we've ever known it. And it can because of the time that we're in. With all of us awakening in the ways that we are, then this hierarchy we have will crumble. And it's time for that. For those of you who have studied the gene keys, and you understand that there are certain terminator codons that are operating in lives right now, and it is to eradicate a lot of these old systems that we can no longer bring into our future. And for those of you who are around babies, these children are different. They've come here different. And a lot of things we've had to deal with, they won't have to deal with. And so they are already equipped naturally with the things that they need as our world continues to evolve, okay? And some of us came to end some of those things, and the hierarchy is one of them. I certainly have it in my profile to end the hierarchies. I also have it in mind to end codependence, to rise above lack, and to just eradicate fear. And so that's what I've been working with myself and with others, because there is nothing to fear when you understand that you are everything that the I am is. I am everything in full and complete measure that the I am is. So here's the caution with using the Red Note app, is to make sure that you are, because I'm watching some people who are truly crashing out, recognizing how much they're having to spend on things and what they've lost as a result, and just how corrupt the system in the US is. But you've got to get to a point that you recognize that even that has been working for you, okay? Because yes, it's been hard as hell. And I'm telling you, through my own experiences, I left everything and everybody, husband, original family, everybody, so I could get away from all of that, because I knew that there was more, and I had to get to where I could hear my own voice. And then I recognize that my own voice is the same voice that you will hear too when you tap into the oneness that is, the consciousness of the I am. All right? And it's all good, and it's all working for you and to your advantage. There is absolutely nothing working against you. But you've got to get into your rightful place and operating in the present, not anything that's happened in the past, not looking too far to the future, but in the present moment. And there are ways that you can do that. All right? All right, just came to off the cuff, just have a little heart to heart with you. And I do have that video coming on the PSYOP and how you are the target enemy, because you're a threat if you are getting out of line. They need you to conform. But none of that is anything to be afraid of, because when you are operating in divine consciousness, there is nothing to fear, and there is absolutely nothing that can hurt you. Okay? So will we recreate all of this? Yes. Are you equipped to do it? Absolutely. You chose to come here in this time. And whether you understand that or not, just keep shifting, all right? Keep making the shift. And the shift is very easy. There's human consciousness programming and there's divine consciousness. You are divine, having a human experience. That's what this body is for, all right? You are not mere human, so stop that. Change that, shift that. You are a divine being using this human apparatus for your divine experiences. All right? That's all I have for you right now. Just remember, you came and you're equipped to transmute every painful experience. So everything that's causing you pain right now, you're equipped to transmute it. You came to transform your mind, transform your way of thinking. Change from human consciousness programming to divinity, and then to transcend all of the shit you've been programmed for here, to transcend into and live according to your divinity. You are sovereign, so reign. From somewhere out here in South America. Ciao for now.